Once we get it. So we are live now. So this is always my favorite part, where you go live and then nothing happens and you're just kind of talking like,
right,
out there to the world. So I will share and tag you in it.
Okay.
On the interweb. So cool. I guess we've got some people hopping on here. So for those of you that are just joining us, my name is Katie. I'm a real estate agent in Houston, Texas, joined by Malcolm Lawson, with Keller Williams in Annapolis, Maryland, who is quite the YouTube master. So wanted him to join us today to kind of go over some lead gen and best practices. So we're just going to kind of chat for a minute here, and then shortly after 2 go live. I'm trying to figure out how to share this on the interwebs right now. So
yeah, if you tag me, I'll share it on my personal page as well.
Good deal.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. I could literally talk about YouTube for hours and hours and hours. And I actually do that sometimes, talk forever about it.
Well, and I think that it's something that like everyone wants to do, but like everyone wants to start a YouTube channel, but doesn't really know where to start, right? And then I think YouTube's kind of, as far as lead gen goes, I think YouTube's one of like the least used by agents, because it's like kind of the unknown. It's like what works on other social platforms doesn't work on YouTube. What shows well on Instagram or Facebook may not show well on YouTube, and there's like secrets to it, right? Like, so yeah, I mean, I think that it's definitely something that a lot of people want to do, but just don't really know where to start.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely has a learning curve to it. Like, you have to spend some time really understanding the platform, and then really what I still tell people is that every platform has a different culture. So what the culture is on YouTube is a little bit different than the culture on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok, and you really need to kind of understand that culture to really get your content to do pretty well on this platform. But yeah, I mean, I've been on YouTube for about 6 years now, for a couple of different channels. I've been doing my real estate YouTube channel for about 3 years now. And it definitely generates me leads. I got one under contract right now that I got from YouTube. I got a lead literally just yesterday. I got a lead before that, the day before that, from YouTube. And the real power in YouTube is that it's the second largest search engine in the world. And for a lot of people, YouTube is the new Google. People go to YouTube and search for things instead of going to Google. And even if they do go to Google, Google still ranks YouTube videos on the first page of Google quite often. So, I mean, a lot of people could go to Google and then they end up finding your YouTube video that way.
Sorry.
What's up?
Yeah, no, that's totally true. Yeah, I wish I had pizza coming. That'd be great. Yeah. No, my husband just got home. So yeah, okay, cool. So if you are out there watching, please let us know if you can hear us. That would be great. And say hello. As you have any questions, drop them in the comments so that we can see them. A lot of stuff probably will be covered, but we'll definitely address questions and concerns and things like that. And yeah, say hello if you are out there watching. I see you. I see that there are viewers. So introduce yourself and say hi and say what's up. We would love to hear from you. So yeah, we'll give it another minute or so and then we can get started. Let's see. I am still trying to share this. So
here it is. Okay, I found it. So let me
you find
share
it?
this. Yep.
Introduce yourself and say hi and say what's up. We would love
Share it to there, and I'll share it to my profile.
Oh, there he is.
So are you doing much with YouTube right now?
So, I mean, we put everything up on YouTube just as far as like, property tours, and we have a buyer series and a seller series. So we've done like a lot of, I guess, like more of the evergreen content, and stuff like that. Right. And then now what I'm, I guess, trying to do is like optimize it a little bit more. So like, we've recently redone our, thumbnails and like done some stuff like that. But we're, trying to figure out kind of next steps to continue to like optimize. So I think that this should be helpful. I'm ready to take notes. So I'm excited.
Good. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people look at YouTube kind of as like just an archive. They just kind of throw things up there so they can reference it later on. But I mean, you can absolutely use it for lead generation, and that's my main source of leads right now in my business, my YouTube channel. So this is kind of a different way of looking at it altogether.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay. Well, if you want to get started, hey Deborah, what's going on? Miguel from South Florida, Melanie, what's up? Yeah, we can kind of dig in with the content.
Where do you want me to start? What do you have any questions specifically about YouTube? And
I guess maybe like the top tips for like starting a channel if you don't have one, right? Like how would you structure that if you're trying to do this as a real estate agent trying to, generate leads? What should be like your first few steps?
Perfect. Yeah. So the first thing, before you even start your channel, really think about who is your target audience going to be for the channel. You don't want to have just a general channel with a bunch of random stuff on there. And I mean, for me, if you're trying to generate leads, I'd say your target audience should be people in your local community or in the city that you want to generate the leads from. And some agents may want to create a channel and their target audience is other real estate agents. Well, that should be a separate channel than if your target audience is consumers in your city. So if that's who your target audience is going to be, then try to think of content that they would enjoy watching. So they would probably enjoy watching top 10 restaurants in Annapolis, Maryland, top 5 national parks in Maryland. That's the type of content that your target audience would enjoy watching, and that would get them to view your videos and then subscribe. Yeah, so I mean, that's the type of stuff that you want to make. One of the best videos to make if you want to get buyer leads is like relocation guide type videos. So like moving to Annapolis or moving to Maryland. Those are the ones that really generate me a lot of leads. And like right now, if you type in moving to Maryland in Google, I've got 2 different videos that pop up on the first page of Google for that. You type in moving to Annapolis, I have a couple of videos that pop up on the first page of Google for that. And that's absolutely how like motivated buyers are finding my videos. And then I have a call to action at the end of, hey, call me, email me, whatever, let's talk, and I can help you find a home. So that's really where I would start is, who your target audience is. Think about what kind of content they would like. When you make the content, kind of how you structure a video is pretty important in YouTube. The algorithms, there's a couple of different algorithms, but really the 2 most important things that they look at is going to be your click-through rate when they show your video. So if somebody searches moving to Maryland, let's say the YouTube shows your video for that 100 times, they're going to measure how many times people actually click on it. And that's solely dependent on your thumbnail and your title. And this is called your click-through rate. And you have to have a high click-through rate for your videos to do pretty well on YouTube. So it means you have to have a good thumbnail and you have to have a good title that makes them want to click. Then the next really important metrics that YouTube looks at is your audience retention. So let's say 10% of the time that they show your thumbnail, somebody clicks on it, which is great. But if they're only watching it for 20 seconds, YouTube's not going to promote that video if people aren't watching it. They watch it for 5 minutes, that's a great signal. So you have to do everything you can to really keep their attention and keep them involved and engaged in the video to watch that as long as possible. And you can actually go into your analytics in YouTube and see this and see an actual your viewer percentage of how long people are watching your videos. But if you can make a video about moving to Annapolis or wherever and then have a high click-through rate, have a high audience retention, they're actually watching your video all the way through, then you have a really good chance of that video ranking in YouTube search as well as Google search.
Cool. So I guess
I threw a lot out at you there.
No. That's really good information. So I guess if someone already has a YouTube channel, right, and they've gone in and some of it's the relocation guides moving to blank city here, blank state here, some of it's property tours, some of it's just a whole bunch of stuff, right? How would you recommend they optimize their channel, right? So would that make sense to unlist videos or delete them, or how would you clean that up for better engagement?
Yeah, so right now, one of the biggest things you can do is just go back and update all your thumbnails. If you're not familiar with YouTube, you may just have like a default thumbnail that was just like a random screen grab from the video. And those screen grabs most of the time, they don't really make somebody want to click on the video. So I would go back and make sure you have a custom thumbnail for every single video that you have on your channel. And then go back and reevaluate your titles of the video. Titles are actually really important on YouTube. And a lot of people look at a title as like a label. They just want to label the video. You need to look at it more like a headline, a headline that makes people want to click on the video. So if you have a video about, instead of titling a video like home buying tips, title it, these home buying tips will save you thousands on your next purchase. That title makes people want to click more. Mm-hmm. And that'll absolutely see your click-through rate go up on YouTube, and your videos are going to perform a lot better just by going back and updating your titles and updating your thumbnails. Those are kind of the two biggest things that a lot of people new to the platform kind of overlook, and they don't really think about them all that much.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's really good advice. As far as thumbnails go, do you have an example of like what a good thumbnail should look like?
Yeah, I could probably pull up some. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, share it and I'll put it up there. So yeah, as he's getting that pulled up, if you guys have questions about YouTube, ask them in the comments. We can share them. You can get some live help on this stuff. Here we go.
Okay, hang tight. Let me go to my channel. All right, so I think a lot of these are pretty decent. Can you see my screen right now?
I can, but I don't know if they can. Someone comment and tell us if you can see the screen. That would be helpful.
I'm pretty sure they can. Yeah, so I mean, you want your thumbnails to be colorful and bright and colorful because you want them to really pop out on YouTube and really stand out and get people's attention. You also don't want to have a whole lot of text in your thumbnail either. The majority of your views on YouTube and on Facebook and everything is going to come from mobile devices. So you want to design your thumbnails to look good when they're on a small size, like on a phone. And so that means you want to have your text really big in the thumbnail. If you use text at all, really big in the thumbnail, and you don't want to have a whole lot of words either. And so, I mean, I think these are pretty decent. They're bright and they're colorful. They show Annapolis. If you have your face in there, again, you want it to be really large because it's going to be mostly viewed on a small phone. One tip that people say is that you want to be able to see the whites of your eyes in your image if you use a picture of yourself. I see a lot of people, what they do is they have really teeny tiny pictures of themselves in their thumbnails, and it's just not quite as engaging. It's also really
it looks like almost.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was gonna say it's also really beneficial to have some kind of theme or consistent style with your thumbnail, just so if somebody's watching one of your videos and YouTube suggests another one of your videos next to it, they can instantly recognize that it's one of your videos. So what are you gonna say?
What I was gonna say is it looks like most of yours are like chest up as far as kind of zoom. Would you say that that's generally what you do on all of them?
Yeah, I would. So this one here is not a great thumbnail. This one's 2 or 3 years old now. And you see how small I am in there? You can't really see my face. It's not very engaging. But something like this is going to be much easier. Yeah, so I usually do crop myself from about my chest up when I put my image in the thumbnail. And I also do that when I film my videos as well. I like to crop myself from about chest up. And just because I know that video is going to be viewed on a mobile device, I want to get as large as I can in that frame and take up as much of that frame as I can.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then with your titles as well. 10 things to know before moving to Annapolis. That's a kind of a decent title. It makes people want to click on that. Best places to live in Annapolis, Maryland. And both these videos rank for just a search term of Annapolis, Maryland in YouTube. But they also, it creates what's known as an information gap. There's something in this video that the user doesn't know, and the only way for them to find out is to click on that video. That's an information gap. Yeah, any other questions specifically?
Yes, we've got a few. Trey asks, what's the best programs to use to make your own thumbnails, or what's the best apps to use to make your own thumbnails?
Yeah, so I mean, I use Photoshop for mine. You can get it for $20 a month from Adobe. A little bit of a learning curve to that as well. You have to kind of figure that software out. But you can also use canva.com. You can create some pretty decent thumbnails using Canva for free. And they have a couple of paid upgrades as well. And then PicMonkey is another popular online thumbnail creator. that you can use. I think that one does cost a little bit of money. And there's another one I saw recently called Thumbnail Blaster. Now they have a whole bunch of YouTube thumbnail templates and everything that you can use. And I think that's a one-time fee of $40, and you can use that online software. So any of those would work.
Okay. That was the one I think someone had mentioned in the YouTube group, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I was like,
okay.
checking it out. It looks halfway decent.
Nice. Cool. Another question, basic question. Can you rename your channel? Mine seems to be unchangeable.
Yeah, you can. Absolutely. I think they may have a limit, like you can only do it like once every 28 days or something like that. But it's in there somewhere. You just got to kind of dig into those settings. Somewhere in there, you can definitely change the name of your channel. And so when you're naming a channel, I generally think that there's kind of two routes that you can go with choosing a name. The first one is that you can create a brand. You can create your team brand or even a personal brand. You can just name it yourself. And then the next route that you can go with naming a channel is kind of hinting at the value of your channel, right? Or so you could change it. I could change my channel to Living in Annapolis, Maryland, and then almost all my content would have to be kind of about Annapolis. And I went with the route of doing the personal brand. So my channel is Malcolm Lawson Realtor, and it's kind of my own personal brand. And that way I can kind of pivot it and kind of go in different directions with that. The channel is called Living in Annapolis. It's pretty specific of what kind of content would be appropriate on that channel.
Yeah, and then obviously if you start putting other cities or other areas, then people are going to, not want to subscribe, right? So
yeah, it would be it's just going to be weird.
Yeah. Okay. That's good advice. Especially, if you haven't started one yet. I had another question, but I forget. I guess what would be outside of doing, relocation guides, outside of, different property tours and things, neighborhood spotlights, what are some other video ideas, that you think rank well on YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, if your target audience is, let's say mine was people in Annapolis, Maryland, I think making like vlogs of you exploring local parks and attractions, if there's any big events or festivals going on, make a quick little vlog of kind of exploring that. That'd be the kind of stuff that somebody would want to know about if they're moving there. And then you do like top 10 lists, top 5 lists about your area as well. Top 10 restaurants, top 10 parks, top 10 things to do. Like that's things to do in is something that people actually search for. They use that exact phrase, things to do in Annapolis, things to do in Maryland. If you have a good video for that, you could definitely rank on YouTube or on Google for that search term. And then people also search for restaurants and parks and attractions. One of my most popular videos is top 10 national parks in Maryland. And then I have top 10 amusement parks in Maryland. And I have people all the time that tell me that like they're moving to Maryland and they say, man, we're so appreciative that you gave us all this information. We never would have known that. We didn't know about all these cool parks in Maryland. And I even have people in my state that tell me, wow, I've lived here 20 years. I never knew about that park or that attraction or something. That's so cool. So it's providing a lot of value doing those top 10 lists about your local area.
Yeah. That's cool. That's a really good idea. Did you actually go to all 10 parks or did you just talk about them?
No, I didn't. I shot it right here in my studio and I just had some images and some videos of the parks going up instead.
Well, it's good to know though, right? Because I think that some people would be like, oh, I can't do that because that's way too much or something.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this is known as like a talking head video where it's just me in a studio and I'm just kind of talking. And that I've had a lot of people from like Facebook world say like, oh, I don't want like those kind of videos. But that kind of video it's native to the YouTube culture. That's just the culture here is you see a lot of people set up a studio and then almost all their videos are shot right here in the studio. And that's a lot of my content is shot like that, where I'm just here talking about things. And it gives me a lot of leverage. I mean, I can just sit down and just bust out a video pretty quickly. And also something like top 10 national parks in Maryland, I could shoot that in an afternoon. If I had actually try to go to all 10 of those national parks, it'd take me a week or two just to get all that content filmed. So yeah, if you're going to get on YouTube, I recommend setting up a little studio like this and get some nice softbox lights and just kind of just have it sitting there so that if you're ready to shoot a video, you can just come and knock it out. And I mean, I can knock out a pretty good video in just a day. I can script it, film it, edit it, and publish it all in just one day because I have all my camera gear all set up and ready to go.
Yeah, that definitely makes it convenient for sure. So if people are interested in digging deeper on YouTube, do you have any resources or places that they should go to be able to do that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got the Real Estate YouTube Mastermind Facebook group. That's my Facebook group. I'm in there posting stuff every single day. If you guys have any questions about YouTube or anything like that, I'll definitely help you out in there. And we have several people in that group that are earning over $100,000 a year just from leads that they're generating from their YouTube channels. We got several people in that group that have generated millions of views on YouTube. So it's not just me. And then I also do have a YouTube channel for agents. It's called YouTube Lead Gen. And it's just all about using YouTube for lead generation in your businesses and kind of the best practices on that platform for us.
Fantastic. This was really helpful. I have a bunch of notes of things that I need to now go do on my page and videos I need to rename. So I appreciate all of the info. Anything else that maybe we didn't talk about that you would like to share, or information you'd like to provide, or anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, I think we got most of it. So so a couple of big mistakes I see real estate agents making on YouTube is that when they first start off the video, they take way too long to actually get to the content of the video. So if you're saying, here's my 10 home buying tips, and it's a minute and a half into the video before you finally get to that, what you're going to see is people are going to abandon your video. Your video is not going to have a high audience retention. It's not going to perform very well. So what I tell people is try to get to the content of the video as soon as you can. All this stuff about, hey, everybody, like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend, go follow me on Facebook and email me. If you put all that junk in the front of the video before you actually get to the content, people are abandoning your video before they actually get into the meat and potatoes. So cut that stuff out. I tell people to try to get to the content within 30 seconds of starting the video. And if you watch my videos, most of them, I get to it as soon as possible. So that's kind of how you start a video is really important. How you end a video is also really important. The second you start using ending language, that's when people start abandoning your video. So if you say something like, well, I hope you guys learned something here today, as soon as you say that, people are going to back out of the video. And you can see this in your YouTube analytics. And so try to end your videos pretty abruptly. Now, YouTube has something called end screen elements, where you can have clickable elements in the videos to go to next, subscribe, or go to other videos. One of the best call to actions that you can do is to tell somebody, hey, click right here to go watch more of my videos about buying a home or selling a home or something like that. And that's a really good sign to YouTube. If somebody watches your video, then they click to watch another one of your videos, that's a really good sign to YouTube, and your videos can perform a lot better on the platform.
When you do that, are you able to select the specific video that you want them to go to?
Yeah, absolutely. You can, you can what video, or you can select what playlist you want. And I think you can have up to 4 different clickable elements. But if you watch my videos, I only have one, because we all know if you give somebody 4 different choices, they're less likely to do any of them. But if you give them one choice and you say, hey, click right here to see my playlist about home buying tips, they're much more likely to click there and then get into a playlist, watch more of your content. And so YouTube, it tracks your click-through rate, your audience retention, how long they're watching your video, and also your session time, how long people are on the platform watching videos. And if you can extend somebody's session time by getting them into a playlist of your other videos, that's super powerful on YouTube, and it's really going to help your videos perform much better.
Yeah, that's good. That's good advice. What's the video setup that you have in your studio?
Yeah, I got... So I've got the Sony a7 III, really fancy, expensive camera. And then I got a Sigma with f1.4 aperture, which is a really fancy lens and gives me that shallow depth of field where my background's all blurry. And then for lighting, I use something like this, and this is known as a softbox. And all it is just some fluorescent lights, and it casts the light directly at me, and it gives you a much more pleasant lighting. And you can actually control it. Like right now, I've got my window open, and I hate filming with my window open because as the sun moves in front of the clouds, the lighting all changes in my studio. So yeah, if you're gonna set up a studio like this, invest in some nice soft boxes to get that directional light coming right at you.
And then you've got the mic.
Yeah. So for live streaming, I use the Blue Yeti. It works. It sounds pretty decent. For my camera, I use the Rode Video Mic Pro. This is a directional mic. I think it's probably like $200 or so for this microphone. And Rode is a really good company. They also make these Rode wireless or Rode. They make these little things like lapel mics. Yeah, they clip onto your shirt. I've been thinking about buying one of those as well. Those sound really good.
Yeah, I like mine. Our videographer still uses his directional like yours a lot, but yeah, I like the wireless a lot as well.
Yeah, I might switch because I do this thing in my shots where I'm like back here and then I get real close to the camera and then I get way back here, and you can hear a difference in the audio when I do that.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy hearing that. And I have to go in and editing and like turn my audio up on some shots and then down on the others.
Bring them all.
Yeah. So I may invest in one of those Rode Wireless Go or whatever it's called, those little square lapel mics. I think it's like $200 for one of those.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think especially if you're moving around a lot, I think that would even it out, maybe cut down some editing time for you.
Yeah. And then I just got the Samsung S20 phone, and I got this specifically just so I can shoot some video on it. Like it's crazy like that. I mean, that's a $3,000 camera setup there, and something like this phone does almost as good as quality. This is like 90% of the quality right here in this little thing.
Well, and I think, I mean, you do a lot on YouTube, you do a lot of video just in general. So having the camera makes sense for you. But for someone just starting out, shooting with your phone and having good sound and good light is, fantastic. So
yeah, if you're looking to invest in your camera gear, I would invest in some kind of good audio. So maybe a lapel mic or something you can plug into your phone, and invest in a good softbox to get a good attractive light on you as well. Those are kind of the two biggest things. The camera gear, even if you got a 3-year-old camera on or 3-year-old phone, that camera is probably decent enough.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this is fantastic information. I'm so excited. And again, like, I'm just going to go hop over to my channel and start editing everything. So I appreciate all of the good advice. Thank you all for watching. I linked up the group, the YouTube mastermind group, up in the comments. So be sure to head over there, and it's a group. So I guess join the group. There's a lot of good content in there. A lot of people that are, as Malcolm said, doing a ton on YouTube and also monetizing that as well. So there's a lot of good people to be able to get information from over there.
Yeah, and we're all pretty big nerds and talk about this stuff for hours. So we'll probably get multiple people answering your questions in there.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. I again have a lot of work to do now, so thank you for that, I guess. And yeah, I hope you guys all have a good week.
All right. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me. I love talking about YouTube.
All right, man. I'll talk to you soon.